Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to my masterclass in recruiting. This is an opportunity for you to learn more about the recruiting process, the keys to helping your son navigate the football recruiting process. For the people that have signed up, this is a unique opportunity, and I really want to welcome you. Little background, my name is David Schuman. I'm the owner and founder of NUC Sports. We founded it in 2005. Little history of my background: I played football at the University of Connecticut. I was a scholarship athlete there, Division I athlete. I went on and got my MBA there as well as my undergraduate degree in Bachelor of Science in Finance. I played all 5 years. 5 years I had a redshirt year, and I played 5 years. I had 3 letters as an athlete. I then started coaching in 2002 at the high school level with training athletes. And then in 2005, we started the NUC Sports Camps and Combines with the exact design to help athletes get recruited for college. Was originally the sole focus of our events. We would test the athletes. We would send off the results to the college coaches. We would evaluate them based off their skill sets. And that's the most important aspect of all of it. So we started those events with that in mind. Since 2005, we've worked with over 200,000 athletes that have come through our programs in the last 13 years. At our largest, we average over 25,000 athletes coming through our programs a year. But in general, we average 10 to 15,000 athletes a year. It's given us and given me a unique perspective of the recruiting process. I've seen so many athletes come through and fail or succeed in the recruiting process based off of some very important things that they did or didn't do. And I'm going to go through that in these 4 seminars that will allow you to understand the recruiting process like no other. You're going to get little insider tips and tools that will help put you in a position to be able to understand the recruiting process. I'll show you exactly methods, little tidbits and methods that will help you in recruiting, and a lot of things that will go through it. We'll also have documents for you that I'll actually do working documents where I'll share my screen and go through some of the most important things from a recruiting process standpoint that's unique, that you need to understand, and it will help you do it. And I'm also going to navigate the internet for you, because so many parents and athletes don't really understand how to navigate the internet to get the information. So I'm going to show you how to do all that right now. Google's your best friend. It's going to give you some of the most easy to find information. In order to become an athlete that gets recruited, the most important thing to understand is that the athlete has to be talented. The athlete has to have the academics as well. He's got to be in great social standing, and he's got to be someone that's been able to get his information out there. There's thousands and thousands of athletes out there trying to get recruited, and there are athletes that play at maybe some of the larger schools where colleges do go to on a regular basis, where they could get discovered, but 95% of the athletes have to go to where the coaches are, have to go to where the evaluation places are, and has to be proactive in the recruiting process in order to make this happen. And that's a really important thing to understand, that they must be proactive in the recruiting process in order to make it happen. So that's a key aspect from recruiting that you need to understand, is the proactive ability of the athlete and the family to be able to get recruited and to do things to put themselves in position to get recruited are key. So I'll go through some of the things, and I'll share my screen with you in a second that will help you to understand some of the most important things from a recruiting standpoint. So right now we'll go, and I'll just share my screen with you, and we'll go to the overview here. Okay, everybody should be able to see my screen and the overview. And I want to go over a couple of most important things that are related to recruiting. So from an overview, we're going to learn what it takes to get recruited. Number two, very, very important, how you get recruited, what colleges are looking for, what type of athlete you need to be to play college, and at what level. What are the steps you must take in order to put yourself in a position to get a scholarship? What financial aid options are out there for Division II and Division III? What is the NCAA clearinghouse? Okay, so before we go any further, I want to make sure we understand these things. What does it take to get recruited? We're going to cover that in depth, how you get recruited, what colleges are looking for, what type of athlete you need to be to play at a college level, what are some of the steps that you need to put yourself in a position to get a scholarship, what are financial options, what are clearinghouse, and then how do you learn the process of getting recruited, and then what do you need to do? Okay, this is important. So you have to understand the process of how to get recruited, and you got to understand what to do. So going back to this, let's cover some important things on this for you that is really going to make a big difference, okay, from that standpoint. So let's understand, number one, what does it take to get recruited? Everybody has various different levels of athletic ability. The key is to find the right place for you. Height, size, and weight are very important things for your position. It's important for you to go and check those things out, okay? And I'll go through on the whiteboard with you some important standards from a height, weight standpoint for certain positions. Now, there are anomalies. There are people that are exceptions to the rule. There are positions that height and size don't make as much a big a difference, but there are certain positions that it does. People always ask, does the school that you play at matter? How important is that in the recruiting process? From my standpoint, I don't think the school that you play at makes a gigantic difference, but your ability does. And that's an important thing to understand. College football programs are looking for the very best players that can help them win. College coaches, their job is full-time as a college coach. Your high school coach teaches in most cases or does something else, because high school coaching does not pay full-time in most places other than maybe Texas and Georgia, okay, and maybe a few other places, but very rarely, okay? So it's important to understand that college coaches' livelihood depends on wins and losses and the type of athlete they bring in. So when you understand that they're not going to waste a lot of time with the wrong kind of people that are doing the wrong kind of things and that are not good enough players. This is not about feelings. This is about ability and the chance to be successful at the college level. If you want to take advantage, like we always say, to be able to leverage your athletic ability to get a college degree, then you have to do the things necessary that they require in order to make that happen. That's really important. So what does it take to get recruited? You have to get your name out there. That is an essential thing in the recruiting process, getting your name out there. So let's go to the whiteboard here and type in some things that could really help you from a standpoint of getting your name out there, okay? I'll share my screen here. And in class 2, 3, and 4, we're gonna go through these things, but I wanna make sure you understand what it takes to get recruited. So first of all, okay, you must be good. Check it. Good. You must be great to play in college. You must have the requirements academically. You must be in good standing socially. You must, I like the good here. Good. You must be committed to excellence. You must be willing to sacrifice your free time to play in college. That is important to understand. I'm going to tell you, people don't understand this, and it perplexes me why they even bother. You have to be willing to sacrifice your time in order to play in college. This is, and the NCAA is limited some of the time frame. If you want to play in college football, you have to understand that it is a job along with being a student. And it's a great job. It's a great job. Okay? So let's understand that if you want to be an exceptional football player, you want to go to college, you have to be able to understand those things. So let's go back and understand this here one more time. You must be good. You must be great to play in college. You must have the requirements academically. You must be in good social standing, committed to excellence, and you must be willing to sacrifice your free time to play in college. It is not a party. It is an opportunity to get your degree, in a lot of cases with a scholarship. And the best players get to go on to the NFL. Okay, so it's important to understand that. I want to make sure we understand that completely. Okay, how do you get recruited? You got to make sure that you utilize all the avenues that are available to you. So how to get recruited. Some of the keys to getting recruited are: number one, you must go to camps. College camps, combines, showcases, and compete. Athletes who sit in the sidelines don't get recruited unless you are the top player in your state of New Jersey and you don't have to go somewhere, or in your state that you live in. You must be going places in order to get recruited. You must get out there. You must go to where people are, or go to where people are evaluated. That is part of the marketing process. Getting out there and competing. So you must get out there and compete. This is part of the process. If you don't get out there and compete, you're going to wait till your senior year till you think you're big enough, or whatever it is. You got to go out and compete now. It's going to get you better as an athlete. You must do that and get yourself out there. You must train at your position. I would say year-round. That doesn't mean you can't play other sports. You can play other sports. Track could serve as that. But you must train your position year-round. The best players are training year-round. When you get to high school, you can play other sports all you want. That's perfectly fine. But you must be training year-round at your skill set. So it doesn't mean that you have to go and play football year-round. But you should be, if you're a receiver catching the ball. You should be, as a quarterback, throwing once a week. To make sure you continue to improve. It doesn't have to be all the time, but you need to have continuous work in progress. You must be training strength conditioning wise. That is definitely, no doubt, year round. You must be improving your speed here. Okay, those are some of the keys. You must improve your transcript. If your GPA is below 2.5, you're in trouble. Your goal should be to have a minimum of 3.0 GPA. If you're going to have a 3.0 GPA, you're going to have an opportunity to get recruited, okay? You're going to be in a position where you'll be able to get looked at, all right? We'll go and take a look. NCAA sliding scale, and I told you we'll go to Google. NCAA sliding scale. Very simple. Type that right into Google. Boom, comes right up. Here it is for you in clear as day, the sliding scale. Okay, this happens to be a high school that puts it up. This sliding scale will show you what you need to have. And you can clearly see if you have a 3.0, your SAT score does not have to be very high. Does not have to be very high at all. Okay? Problem comes when you have a low SAT score, your subsequent SAT has to be, and ACT has to be incredibly high. NCAA, this is now Division II requirements, NCAA Division I requirements. Sliding scale of GPA, SAT scores used for NCAA purposes, only critical math sections. You have to understand that you use the eligibility code 999 and put in a score to the eligibility center. Okay, you've got to go to the clearinghouse. You go right to the clearinghouse, and you can go right into that. You type it right into the NCAA, and you can start the clearinghouse process. I'm not going to talk about that today, but I want you to understand that. Okay. Last but not least, you must reach out to college coaches. Sitting by and waiting for people to come and find you is not going to work. You've got to do it 3 ways. How do you reach out to college coaches? Okay? Reaching out. Number 1, you must call and, let's just say, you must call position coach and recruiting coordinator. At a minimum. Number 2, you must email them your highlight, your transcript, and info about you. Address, all that kind of stuff. Okay, send to the head coach too if you want. And coordinators. Okay, you must email. You must find them on Twitter. This is a secret. Find them on Twitter and send them all of your info and highlights on Twitter, including your size and speed if you're fast. Okay, those are important things. Now, there are other avenues that you could do it. You can go to college junior days, summer camp, and specifically a 1-day camp. And then you could also go to combines and showcases that submit your athletes' information to all the college coaches. We do this at NUC. Okay, so here's an important thing. This is critical. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second here because I want you to understand this. Everyone goes to all these different camps and they complain about sometimes what goes on at the camp. Really, the truth of the matter is, if you perform well, great, you get evaluated. The key is the information going to the college coaches. That's the key. Getting your information in the college coaches' hands. If you go to the outside combine or campus showcase, that they deliver that to the college coaches. And they deliver all the information that you put into the registration form so you can have the opportunity to get recruited. Because the college coaches in the end make the evaluation. They'll take the stats and information and they'll utilize it as they see fit. Okay, that's important. A lot of times they'll use it to invite you to camps, summer camps. Figure out which places have the most interest in you and go to some summer camps. You must attend and work out for people to get to notice you. That is really, really important. If you don't understand that part of the process, that information is the most valuable thing that we have out there. The reason why Facebook is brought in front of Congress because of the way they're using information in the improper fashion. Information is the most valuable thing for a coach because then he can start his process of evaluating you. He'll pull your name up on the huddle link and he'll go and watch your highlight tape. He'll go and watch your game film. They have access to everything, especially Division I, BCS, and FCS. They have access to everything. So it's important to understand. It's important to understand that these coaches have not just have access to everything, but they're in a position now that they're going to know everything about you as far as from a playing standpoint because they'll have access to Huddle. Coaches have a subscription to Huddle. So all you've got to do is give them your information. Your Huddle link is fine. Don't go and send coaches Huddle links without your information. You must have the most important things. And let me put it in here. I'm gonna give you on a screen share very important, all the critically important things that you must have in order for the coaches to be able to see you. So let's clear this out here. Okay. Hopefully we've been able to do this. Okay, let's understand what you must provide college coaches when you reach out to them. Height. No, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. Name, school, height, weight, speed, position. Speed meaning 40-yard dash. Position, GPA. Okay? If you have transcript. GPA. Those things are incredible. Highlight link. Okay? If you can't provide your Twitter link or iGram, nothing else. They don't need to have your Snapchat. They'll figure that kind of stuff out after. This information is critical. Okay, now once you provide that information, they're also probably going to want your email address and your phone. They'll probably get your address at a later date. But these things are the most important things for you to be able to get recruited. If they don't have this, if you hit somebody up on Twitter and just send them a link, it's a waste of time. And I'm going to show you examples of good and bad. This must be included if you tweet them, email, okay? You must do that. Okay, let's look at some examples here. All right, let's stop the share here and let's look at some real examples. Some real good examples here. Okay, let's go look at some real good examples. So let's go onto my Twitter here. All right, we'll go on to Twitter, and the reason why I'm bringing up my Twitter is because I get so many messages all the time on Twitter, and I think it's important for athletes to see what is good and what isn't. Okay, this, Devin Lewis, this information here that Devin Lewis has provided me is fantastic. Now I can evaluate him and know if he's worthwhile me looking at. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can find one that is not fantastic. There you go. This isn't bad. Oh, this is a pro guy. Sorry. There we go. That's pretty good. Prodigy Williams, pretty good. Giving me all the information I need. See, these guys are starting to get it because I've asked for it. This is an example of bad. This is bad. I don't know anything about the person. I don't know who Logan Graham is. I don't even know if that's his name. I don't know if that's his height. I don't know what his weight is. I don't know anything. There's no reason for me to click on this, okay? When I could go and look at Devin Lewis, who's told me he's 6'1", 280. Okay, he's a defensive tackle, defensive end. He's a May 2018 qualifier. Okay, that means he's ready to go now, 3.0 GPA. And then I go click and watch his film. That's pretty darn good. That's good stuff. That's going to be a difference maker for the athlete and making sure that I understand all the information. So what we just went through there was how you can go and do it, okay? And you would send that information exactly to a college coach. So how would you go about finding a college coach? So let's go back to Twitter and see, okay, how you would do that. So you go, oh, well, what happened here? We go here. I don't know what that is. Okay, so we go. Let's do something real simple. Let's figure out a coach that we want to go and look at, okay? Let's type in, let's go Chris Ash of Rutgers, since I'm in New Jersey. Okay. Let's see if Chris Ash has a Twitter page. There you go, boom, Chris Ash, Rutgers. Okay. Now, I could tweet coach by information. That's something I 100% can do. Okay, if he begins to follow me, then I can DM him the information, right? But I could go and tweet right at coach, tell him my height, weight, you know, Dave Schumann, 6'1", 6'2", 6'1", 250, LB, 4.640, and then my information, okay? Highlight link, everything like that. Send that to Coach Ash, and that's part of the process. Obviously, same exact thing you want to do from an email standpoint that gives you the ability to do that. And you want to do this to as many coaches as you can. So let me go back to the important part of this process. Okay, before I talk about what college is looking for, what I talk about tools and tricks, let's talk about an important issue here. Okay. Okay, so how do we reach out to these coaches? We talked about email. We talked about Twitter. I just showed you on Twitter how you find out their information. Okay, how do we reach out to these coaches to get the information to them that we think they need in order for them to begin recruiting us? That's an important thing from a process standpoint. Okay, it's important for us to understand that we've got to go and find those coaches, and how do we reach out? What is the number, the volume needed? And I've talked about this. If you've gotten my 21 days to get recruited, which is like a quick and dirty of you do these exact things and you will get recruited. Okay. But here's some of the most important things. You must make a list of 100 coaches, schools you're interested in. You must have multiple levels: BCS, FCS, D2, maybe D3, I don't know. But definitely that far, multiple levels. You must find all of the information, including email, phone, Twitter, on each of the people you're going to reach out to. You must reach out to them on a weekly basis. So what I would do is break it up 25 a week. Reach out to them, follow up, reach out, follow up, and start to get feedback as to what's going on. It's important that you do this over and over and over again. The best day to do this is Wednesday night, usually recruiting call night. Okay, Wednesday night's the best to do that. Do that Wednesday night when you get home from school, 7 o'clock. Call the coaches, email the coaches. If you've met some of them, this is a great time to reach out to them. If you met them at a camp, this is a great time to do that. It's important for you to go and take care of this process in the right way, because I implore you, if you don't do that, you're not going to get recruited, okay? Unless you are the 1% of the 1%. Everybody's got to make sure they utilize that information. Utilize your high school coach as a resource. So get your high school coach involved. I handle this for my players. I get their name out to over 5,000 coaches to ensure that there's an opportunity for them to succeed no matter what level they're at. It's important for that information to get out there. So you got to make sure you do it, and you do it on a weekly basis. You reach out 25 a week, and then you make a list of who is interested. Okay, I'm going to show you how you do this. This is key. Okay, here's how you do this. Let's erase this here. Okay. Erase that there. That's all gone. Okay. Now, here's what you do. You go and you make a column. Interested. This thing will work here. No response or no interest. Every school that is interested in you, you list. So let's say you have Notre Dame has responded by email. Rutgers tweeted back at me. And then you have your list of schools. I forgot all about that. So you have your list of schools. Okay? And you're going to draw that line there. You got your list of schools, and you have Notre Dame, Rutgers, UConn, Bama, Auburn, so on and so forth. And then you start to track this. So you track, and I would do this exactly like this. Okay, I'd have a nice line here. So I know exactly who was interested and who wasn't. Okay, and I would know which schools have an interest level in me or not. That's important. So we say, okay, so Notre Dame responded back to me. Bama, not interested. Which they're probably going to be not unless you're the top of the top. Auburn, no response. Follow up next week. Okay, so anything that you have this with no response, you create one more category. Okay, and here's your category, which is follow up. So in this category, these are all the schools that you still have to follow up with the next week. So next week, UConn, Bama, well, we already said Bama's not interested. Auburn, Baylor, Texas, so on and so forth. And then as you get everything, you get the people that are responding, and then you start to get a list that'll go all the way down. That'll tell you of who's interested and who isn't. Okay, and you start to get that list, and you start to focus on them. And then your list of teams that you're interested in, maybe you're no longer interested in talking to these schools, and you have a new 25 schools. Okay, and you keep working till you get this list to grow. And then you create a whole new list once you get that interest level. The next list, which is this. Offer, interest, no interest, need more info. Or I should say hold and wait. Okay, let me undo this here because there we go. Offers. Interest. No interest. Wait. Hold. Okay, so you have this. This list is critical because this list, and I've got to rush this along a little bit so we can get done this hour here. There's so much information to cover. Okay, this list is going to tell you if schools have offered you money. Okay, Rutgers, the school is interested in you still. Your school's Auburn, so on and so forth. No interest, Bama. Wait, hold. This could be a might be interested in you school. You could say Monmouth. Okay, and you start to build that list. When you start to build these lists, you get a real picture as to what's going on from a recruiting process standpoint. Once you have that picture, you can begin to now focus all your efforts on the schools that are most interested in you. Okay, I told you, you make a list. Now you go to your high school coach and you work with them directly on making these things happen. You go into their junior days, you go to their one-day camps. That's how you choose your one-day camps. You don't get yourself in a situation where you're going to a one-day camp and you're going to a school that has no interest in you. That's a waste of your time. That's a waste of everybody's time. Now, here's the difference. A lot of colleges, like Rutgers or UConn, they'll have 100 other schools that may be going to their summer camp. So at Rutgers, you might have College in New Jersey, Keene, Monmouth. They may all be at Rutgers' one-day camp because they like to have as many coaches there as possible so to help from a recruiting process standpoint, draw more people to their camp. So those camps then will be valued. Most of the big schools, that's what they'll have going on, and they'll put you in that situation. Okay, so it's important for you to understand that, to gauge that interest and get yourself in a position to do that. All right, so now where do you go? Where do you go to find these people? So where do you go? We'll get to these next time, but where do you go to find coaches? Okay, so let's go to it. Google. All right, Google's your best friend. If you can't use Google, you can't use much. Google is your best friend. So here, we got in a situation where we want to find out how do we, let's try and just look at a real easy example. Rutgers football. We've got to find where the Rutgers football is. Okay, this is the official site for Rutgers football. Good. We found Rutgers' football site. Now, a little slow here. Rutgers' football site, we go to Rutgers football's page. And you're going to get two things accomplished here. For your position, you're going to find out from the roster who they have on roster at your position and what grade they're in. So this is important when you're targeting schools. Okay, you'll have a listing. Just go right to their roster page. You can see it here. Okay, it has every single athlete that's involved in their program. Okay, and you could find out what position they're in. Okay, so you can go through it and figure that out for yourself. Find what positions are open. Go from there. Okay. Now, the most important thing that you could also do, now there's a second thing for recruits. And I'm showing you exactly how to do this. You have an exact form here that will show you where you go, and you fill out all the information from a recruiting standpoint. You must fill this information out. This will help get you into their database from a recruiting standpoint. Okay? This is critical. All right, that's the second thing that's important in a recruiting process. Third, okay, coaching staff. This is not the info I'm looking for here. I'm looking for where the coach's information is, and there's usually a section that has administratively. Here we go, staff directory. This is the most important place you can go from a recruiting standpoint to get to the staff directory. You must go and get to the staff directory in order to get the information you need from a recruiting standpoint in order to get the emails and all that kind of stuff. So you go to the, and you can see it here, it's Scarlet Knight/staff. You see right here, you come to football, okay? And every single coach's information and their Twitter account is here, as well as phone number. Now, what's interesting here about Rutgers, and I'm going to show you a tidbit, they don't list their email there. They're trying to get you to go to that recruiting site that I told you. They want you to reach out to the recruiting coordinators to be able to get that information going, okay? So, for example, the recruiting coordinator, here at Rutgers, I'll tell you, these staffs are really growing. Let's see what we got. Director of recruiting. It's interesting how they kind of now are trying, Rutgers is trying to not have you email them. So what we will do here is a real interesting thing, and I'm going to show you the first trick of the day, okay? Let's take Coach McNulty, for example. Okay, first of all, the first thing you should do is you should add all these guys and follow all of them if you don't already. So I follow Coach. Let's see if I follow Coach McNulty. I do follow Coach McNulty, Coach Newman. And Coach Newman, Coach Oakridge. I guess I follow him already. Noah Joseph. Follow him. Coach Blas. And now follow him. I didn't even have all these guys followed. But this is what you want to do. You want to go through this process exactly like this before you tweet them. Coach Nuns. I'm sure I follow him already. Good. Esther Erb. Good. Follow him. Tony Ninas, Corey Robinson. And you literally have to go and follow each one of these guys and then find the ones that your position coaches. And I mean, I would even go so far, like these offensive assistants, these guys can be valuable in the recruiting process for you if you can't get a hold of the coach, although he doesn't even have one. Coach Rosenblum, does he have one? He does. Okay, look, now you're in a better position here to follow all the guys you need to. Okay, so that's an example of what you could do. Now, here's my little tidbit. So if you go to Rutgers University, and I'm going to show you how you can get right to a coach if you can't find their email in their directory. All right. Every school is going to have faculty and staff. And in general, let's see if we can find it here. Okay, faculty and staff. Trying to find the most important thing, and I'll show you where it is. This might be it here. John McNulty. See if this works. There it is. Okay. Actually, they don't have the email, which is surprising because usually they do have the email. But if you want to find out, let's see if this will help you here. It looks like they've done a good job of safeguarding it. There are other schools. A lot of times this is one of the tidbits and tricks that you could actually find on the directory, their email address. So if you go to, there is a place usually where you go to the faculty and staff in most cases and find that information. It looks like Rutgers has discouraged that from their standpoint. I'm just trying to see if we have it here listed. Let's see if we can search. Looks like they don't have it. I bet you could find it. Let's look at UConn. So let's go UConn here. Pushing up in the last 5 minutes, so I want to get through this because I want to go through the last part today. Faculty and staff. Boom. Okay, so let's type in Randy Edsel. Let's see if we get it to find out. This is my trick if it does work. Perfect. Here it is. Randy Edsel, head football coach, and his email, and exactly where he is. So this is what I talk about. Most schools will have this. I was not able to find with Rutgers there, but most schools will have that for you. And from a recruiting standpoint, it's going to give you an opportunity to find the places to get recruited. So today, let's recap some of the things that we covered. Number one, we talked about what schools are looking for and some of the things of how you can begin to start getting recruited. Number two, we talked about possible events that you can go to and how important information is in the recruiting process. And number three, most importantly, how do you go and find the coaches to reach out to them, or what do you utilize? You got to utilize Twitter. You got to utilize email. You got to utilize the phone. You've got to create those lists to make that happen. Okay. What I'll do is I'll take the documents that we have today, and I'll put most of those for you online. Okay, and we'll cut and paste those for you. We'll put the workbook on there for you, and we'll get you exactly how you can go and take those tools and help yourself from a recruiting process standpoint. All right, next Wednesday we'll cover in depth camps and programs and what they need, what their impact is, and how to choose those camps and programs, how to interact with a college coach, and more about junior days and those kind of things. We'll have that next week for you at the Coach Schumans MasterClass online class right here on the internet, teaching you everything you need to know about the recruiting process.